So we are delighted to have with us Robert Snyder, the composer of the piece that we just heard. Robert, tell us, how and why does a successful businessman like you make time in his life for music?
Well, we have to make time for the things we love, people and things and art. So, like yourself, if you've been involved in this endeavor, musical endeavor, I mean, you couldn't shake it if you wanted to. So it's just part of you.
And the piece we just heard, the setting of Psalm 1, when and why did you compose it?
Well, you were developing a concept of Psalms. You asked if I would contribute something. I said, what should I do? And you said, well, it's up to you. Why don't you stay in the jazz mode? And I said, there are 150 Psalms, so we would start. So I had this idea, the world does not need another D minor Jewish piece. I was going to take the first 10 Psalms, and as I kept moving along, making notes and so on, I finally said, what the hell are you doing? I mean, I said, this will take me years to do. I said, no, I can't do that. So I stopped at 1. Psalm 1 is really interesting. It doesn't talk about wars. It doesn't talk about societies falling apart. The words are very introspective and also very poetic. It lent itself to some interesting things. For example, the measure, I think it's the second or third measure that goes into 5/4, allow that stop.
Happy is the man who walks not in the counsel
So I could have written it differently. I could have just, punctuated the word and kept it going. But I thought by adding that extra beat in the measure gave it greater emphasis.
I love that it's a bilingual piece, that you've got both the Hebrew and the English going, and some of that is your own translation, right?
Yeah, that's my own translation, but it's somewhat disingenuous for me to write in Hebrew, a language that I don't speak. I've written a lot of pieces. I've probably written, I don't know, 40, 50 pieces in Hebrew. Prayer settings. Now, when I do write in Hebrew, I ask people and I say, how does, say this? I mean, I have prayers that I can say by heart. I don't know what the hell I'm saying sometimes, but they mean something to me. Since my audience are American, we owe it to them to have them understand what you're writing.
So, what are some of the differences when you compose a liturgical setting and something that is completely secular? Do you approach it differently? Is there a different style, do you think?
I would say not. When I write, I usually start with a lyric, or sometimes it's a partial lyric that gets me started in a certain direction, and then the music and the lyric kind of parallel each other. But I usually start with a lyric. So whether it's liturgical or not, it's the same dynamic. What's driving me is sound, really. It's the sound of music and the sound of the lyric, and trying to marry the two together.
So, Robert, do you think there's
So
such a thing as a Jewish sound? Does any of your music sound Jewish?
yeah, there are tropes and cantillations and so forth, but that what makes Jewish music Jewish is context. What's happened in America is that we have all of it. We have all the different sounds and cultures, and I mean, you can have that Oriental sound, of the minor third and the flatted fifth, but that's an Oriental sound. It's not specifically Jewish. It is Jewish, but it's not specifically Jewish.
Robert, most of the time I think you play piano as a soloist. Sometimes you'll work with a singer. What was it like to work with a whole chorus this time? And you not only composed for, but you were there at the piano in the performances.
Scary. Um, why? Because I never took piano lessons, so I never relaxed into it the way I would have liked to. The other thing is I'm a big faker, so that when I play what I play, it's rare that it's the same all the time. I mean, it was a wonderful experience, really. It was a wonderful experience. Uh,
Well,
so
it was wonderful for us as well.
thank you,
Good.
thank you, thank you.
Anything else you'd like to add, Robert?
My association with Zamir has been just wonderful from a lot of perspectives, and it's just great, great experience for me.